Hello and welcome to our lesson 2, where we'll be tackling the types of stores. I'm your tutor Julius Joseph Owino, and I'll be taking you through the types of stores. So various organizations or various enterprises have actually different types, or actually having varying types of stores, and even the organization of those stores are actually varying in enterprises. So talking about the types of stores, we have three examples of stores, and that is the centralized stores, this one here. We have the centralized stores, and lastly the impressed stores. We will be checking each and every one of them to know what they are, and we are going to start from the centralized stores. So in centralized stores, you will note that here we're talking about when materials are kept in one central warehouse, and these are issued from one central point. Only then it is called a centralized store. We are talking about issuing done at a central place. In this case, we are talking about a central warehouse, or the distribution is done at one point or at a central point. We are talking about the issuing. Remember, one of the functions of a store is to issue materials. So when the issuing is being done at one point and all the other store activities are being done at one point, then that is what is called a centralized store. Centralized store have various advantages and disadvantages, and in this slide we only have the advantages. That is, smaller stock are needed, less staff is required, that is here, less staff is required. Then we are talking about paperwork is reduced. Remember, all the store activities are now done at one point, and the distribution also done at one point. As a result, there will be reduced paperwork. Everything can be computerized in that case. Then control of stock. Control of stock level is actually very easy and simple when you have a centralized store. We have better security. Better security measures can be introduced when you are having a centralized store. Lastly, with the centralized stores, there is less risk of duplication of items of stock. Remember, you are having a clear vision of how your stock is moving when you are operating under a centralized store system. Maybe if you need the disadvantages, let me know. Moving on to decentralized stores. Now, when materials are held and issued by sub-stores in each department or branch, then it is called a decentralized stores. Now, in this case, some activities are done by the sub-stores, others are done by the main store. That system is what we described as a decentralized store. Remember that the advantages of centralized stores are the disadvantages of the decentralized stores. So whatever we discussed to be the advantage of the centralized store will turn to be the disadvantage of the decentralized store. Similarly, the disadvantage of the centralized store turns to be the advantage of the centralized store. Now we move on to the third type of store, and that is the impressed stores. The impressed stores. So in this case, the materials are actually received by the central store, but Some items of these materials are issued to some substores on the basis of imprest system. We will note that the system operates in the same way. It operates in the same way as the petty cash imprest system. That is in the financial field. The imprest stores operate the same way as the petty cash system. So, for example, a specific quantity of each item of material is issued to the storekeeper of a specific department at the start of any period. So, at the end of this period, the storekeeper will inform about the number of items of any material used for production. So, this specific number of items of the material will be replaced at the start of the next period. So, for example, if the consumption of material X, for example, consumption of maybe material X is 2000 units per week, then interest of 2000 units is arranged. So if at the end of any specific week the storekeeper remains with 150 units, for example, then he will get 1850 more units of this material at the start of the following week. So in this case, the interest quantity of 2000 units will be restored. That is, if you received items maybe worth 1000, for example, 1000, for example, 1000, and in the 1000 you used maybe 900. So in the next period they will add you only what? They will not give you 1000 again, they will only give you 900 used, so that the remaining 100 here will fill that, so that the impressed quantity of, now in this case, 1000 will still be maintained. So thank you for watching. We meet in our next lesson, actually, where we will be handling what is called the material coding. Kindly subscribe. We meet in the next lesson.